Is that a damn ferret out here in the wild?
Oh, you got him. You got him.
Easy peasy. It's like pushing away my exes. Looks delicious. As promised, we are going to finish doing these weeds because I haven't yet, and I said I was going to pick up the trash and I haven't yet. I took out the trash but haven't picked up the trash here in the once was a garden but now is a weed bed. That's okay. So we're going to finish picking up the weeds. I have dinner cooking for the girls inside, so they'll be set. I just need to keep an eye on it. I'm notorious for burning things. But yeah, so let's go ahead and pull these weeds. You guys think that I should double glove? So I got to thinking about it, and I think we're gonna wait on the weeds. It's a little hot outside. I don't want to burn the food, and the neighbors are out here. Plus, I just don't feel like doing it, to be honest. I just don't. It's too damn hot outside. I'm just not in the mood. I'm just not in the mood. And it was loud, and the neighbors were out there, and I think I've felt more like myself lately. I've felt more like me. Whatever that means, I don't know, but I feel like I'm coming into myself. I guess you could say balanced. I feel a lot more balanced lately. Past couple of days, I feel like I'm balancing out. You can get to where you're just going and going and going, and you're so busy that you don't even realize how out of whack you are, how out of balance you are, how energetically haywire you've gone. Can you imagine if all of us could see our energy? I mean, you can actually. You can see people's energy. It's their auric field, but I mean, if you could really see it without having to really focus on it or look, if like the first thing that introduced you to someone was their energy, but because you could see it, not because you could feel it, but more so because it was visible, that would be insane. But so I was feeling like my energy must have been completely out of whack because I've been experiencing a little bit more peace in my soul. I'm hearing it is well with my soul. I've also been channeling like crazy. I was just thinking this morning, I'm like, man, I wish I had the camera on all the time, because when I channel, it's random. It's like so random. I could just be laying in bed. Usually I'm laying in bed. I had a really crazy dream last night too. And I woke up, and it was like, as soon as I woke up, it was gone. I hate when that happens. I was like, man, because I love remembering my dreams. I love thinking about them, writing them down. And maybe that's it, you know, maybe that's it. The more imbalanced I was, the more my dreams started to subside. But when I began catching up on more sleep and taking a lot more time for myself again, it's like the dreams are coming back. And it's incredible. But now I just need to remember them. I mean, I'm still having a little bit of a difficult time going to sleep. It's like I'm wired. Like my physical body is like, I don't want to go to bed. And my mind is like, oh, yes, you do, honey. Yes, you do. But my body's like, no. It's like, it could be a whole Aries thing. I don't know. But so I've been using sleep hypnosis. And I don't know if you guys have ever used it. But I mean, I want to go see an actual sleep hypnotherapist. But I've been listening to videos of Michael Sealey. Michael Sealey is, I listened to him before, probably like 4 or 5 years ago, his meditations, and I was thinking, wow. And then I started listening to his sleep hypnosis, and it worked. And then I don't know why I got out of it. I think maybe it comes to you when you need it, or you come to it when you need it. Past couple of days, I've been thinking about, you know, deeper things, astral projection, sleep hypnosis, just, I've been having that more in like the forefront of my mind lately. And so I just started listening to it again. And what would you know? Listened to it last night and I passed out. I mean, within like, I don't even remember. I mean, you pass out within the first, I don't know, a couple of minutes. But I remember dreaming and I was so excited when I woke up because I was like, oh my God, yes, I had a dream. And it seemed like a whole story, like a really good dream. And then it left me and I was like, damn it. But it's because I haven't been working on it. When you don't use it, you lose it. Or so they say. I am still really tired though. I feel rested, but just I feel like I need more. It could be what's going on with the planets and all these damn retrogrades. But I don't know. I'm kind of like super tired all the time right now. But there is a lot of energy, you know. And I also feel like something I'm realizing is when you're shifting cycles and you're going from one cycle to another, it's a huge energy drain because, you know, all that energy leaving from whatever you just left behind, you're going to need energy for what you're going to pick up in this new cycle. You know what I mean? And it's exhausting. It's like unpacking. Or when you go on vacation, it's fun. And then when you get home, it's like, it's exhausting because you have to unpack everything and then wash it and get it all ready to go. And it's like more work. So it's like, I've been in a type of transition, which I love. I love the transitions. That, you know, for a while I hated that shit because I always felt like it wasn't stable or it wasn't, you know, because it was just felt like I was always shifting. And then I realized one of my purposes here, I think we have many, and then I realized I was a life path 8, and so it's kind of what I'm meant to do, and it just became this thing. So instead of letting it control me and make me feel like, oh, I started to embrace it. So when I go through a cycle shift now, it's more, I don't necessarily know what to expect. I don't want to be too proud and say that because you never really know what to expect, you know? You can know things, you can be able to read things, have a killer intuition. You can be the most psychic of psychics ever. You can be the best tarot reader ever, but when you ever get to a place where you're like so certain, you should be careful because it's about balance. It's about also knowing that we may know things and we also know that we know nothing. And so in this cycle change, I'm like a little bit prepared for the blow because I've kind of experienced, obviously, cycle changes before, where I've lost things and gained things and completely shifted almost realities. And so I kind of knew how to prepare for the blow, but you never really know. You know what I mean? So it's like buckle up Don't ever take that bitch off, and just embrace whatever comes, whatever is meant for you, whatever you're meant to see, no matter how crazy, no matter how painful, no matter how exhausting and tiring. It's all a part of the wheel. It's all a part of your experience here, your existence, your life, you, because you are the life itself. So you are all these things, which means it can't just be one thing all the time. You can't just experience one thing all the time. It has to be different. So no matter what cycle you're in, no matter what spiritual elevation or level you reach, no matter what you accomplish in your life, whether it's monetary here in the 3D, all material, or it's the highest spiritual ascension you could ever reach. I mean, no matter what it is, while we are still in these human bodies, there will always be a balance. So don't freak out, and this is what I've been telling myself the past couple of days. When things shift again, and it's like, here we go. Don't think that, don't think negative, just embrace it for whatever it is and whatever it will become in its own way. Don't compare it to the other experiences you've had. Let it be whatever it is, and that's hard, and don't expect it to be this and that. Just let it be, and it will surprise you. And so I'm like experiencing the surprises here. Like, I'm strong. I don't know if I've ever said that on here, but I'm really strong, and I'm seeing that about myself. And I'm also very destructive and very stubborn, and I can be impulsive, but I've learned to tame that one a lot. Doesn't mean that I have, but I've learned to tame it a lot. I've learned the worst parts of myself, and I've seen the most beautiful sides of myself, and it's like, I know there's more to uncover. I know that I have to have a balance with both of them. One cannot exist without the other. And to kind of just flow with whatever happens, whatever's thrown at me. Taking accountability for all your sides, for all of your cycles, for the you who you were in that cycle, taking accountability for that, realizing it, and more to yourself. Not even I'm talking to other people, I'm saying about yourself. Taking accountability to yourself, being aware, acknowledging truths about yourself in every cycle. That's when the real metamorphosis happens. I have chills. That's when the real transformation happens, when you acknowledge and hold yourself accountable. Doesn't matter what anybody else does, but as long as you know what you've been, what you've done, and you address it, you accept it, you forgive it, and acknowledge it, learn from the lessons, and you move forward into who you're going to be in the next cycle. Ultimately, you're all still the same you. You're still the same you, no matter what, but you have so many layers. You're not just one-sided. You're always going to be a different you. Hopefully you're a different you. That's what we're looking for. That's what you came here to do, is be a different you, is to experience different sides of yourself so that you can work through whatever that karma is and whatever you've done past life, if you believe in it, or this life, and work on it and grow and elevate to the next you that will continue to elevate until you elevate up on out of here. And so that's what I've been doing, and it's tough. It's tough, and you get exhausted. So going back to that, you get exhausted when you're shifting cycles. You lose a lot, but you gain so much more. You gain so much more. And What you lose is never really lost because it's a part of who you are right now. The past is not the past, and the future is not the future. We're only in right now. Right now. There's only right now. And that's probably a whole nother video. That's a whole nother video. So, handle the now. If I could say anything, I would say just handle right now. Handle the now. Everything else will handle itself. And then when it does, and when things arise and come up, you address yourself. Even if things are happening and you want to address other people, it doesn't matter. The growth isn't going to come from that. The growth is going to come from you sitting with you, and things like sleep hypnosis or meditation and shadow work, breath work. These things really, they're tools. They're tools to help you. But I'm telling you, the number one tool that you should, you have the ability to do it, most of us, and the number one tool that we don't utilize, that is probably one of the biggest tools to spiritual enlightenment and well, it kind of goes together, I guess, but self-awareness is isolation. And if you're never alone and you don't take time for yourself, and I don't just mean a couple hours, I mean like actual time to yourself, putting yourself as a priority, because you have to, realizing that, right? If we don't ever do that, it's really detrimental to our growth. I was talking to my daughter earlier, and I was telling her that I heard this video before of this man named Jordan Peterson. I love Jordan Peterson. He's amazing. But he said something like in a video, you should be a monster, and then you should learn to control it. And I loved that because I was like, boy, that's the truth. That's duality, and that's balance. Like, even the most peaceful of peaceful people, or the people who've ascended really high spiritually, it doesn't mean that they're, you always have to look one way, and you always have to be so calm, and you always have to do these same things, and that in order to reach this level, it means you have to have done this. It's like, it doesn't have to be that way. Everyone's growth is entirely different and personal to them, to their journey, their mission, their purposes here. And when you go through a lot of pain, and a lot of it, those are the choices you make, not all of them, but you go through a lot of pain in this life, you do, in this experience of your life, you go through a lot of, boy, I don't know if there's a word for it. What you go through in this existence, but it is definitely something, isn't it? You could call it pain. It could damn near drive a person mad. And sometimes it does, and it's knowing that you have that in you. You have it in you. Knowing it, too. Like, just knowing it, but also knowing that it would not be of your highest integrity to use that side of you, ever. Never. It doesn't mean that you don't have it in you. It doesn't mean that you, aren't aware of it, but it just means that you have enough self-control. You have enough love for yourself and for others in the world to not ever bring that side of you out, no matter what happens, no matter what's thrown at you, no matter what. You keep it in, and you control yourself. That's true integrity. That's true strength and wisdom. It's not always like, once you move on to a new cycle, it's all rainbows and kisses, and you talk very sweet all the time. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe that's just your demeanor or who you are, but, I don't know. It's not always that. This is why I tell people that stability is in the eye of the beholder. You know what I mean? What is actual stability, to me, is a situation where you've gone through a lot of different trials and tribulations in your life alone, You experience them alone. Knowing, because I mean, it makes a difference when you're alone. It makes a very big difference. So if you do it alone, then you realize, you know, you're kind of a beast. You're like a beast of types. You're a beast. And you can be a beast because you motherfucking had to be. You see the passion that comes out of me because you had to be. There was nobody there licking your wounds. There was nobody there picking you up. If anything, they were pointing fingers at you. They were betraying you and turning their backs on you and ganging up together. Whatever it is, you know what I mean? You were alone. And you stood firm and you grew from it, being insulted, being, all the things. There's no need to even, So all these things are happening and you're facing them alone. Boy, this really builds some character. So in you, you have a warrior. Guerrier, a warrior. Someone who, if they could, or if they wanted to, not that they can, if they wanted to, they would unleash. But they don't want to. And they're not going to. Because their higher self has elevated to the point where the higher self is not in competition with the monster within. The higher self realizes it's part of them and that it's going to be in control. The higher self being you before all these conditions and all these things happened to you that created that monster, but you needed it for the balance. Otherwise, are you human? Are we even human? I don't know about y'all, but I just heard an ambulance, so... Oh my god, it's probably like, check the food, bitch!